Today, I'm gonna do an in-depth overview of 5 boxing defenses that every beginner should have in their tool belt. So let's go ahead and jump into it. In order to take you to the next level as a fighter, a boxer, a kickboxer, it's really important to work on your defense. So the first defense we're gonna work on is the slip. It's probably the first defense that you'll ever learn when you start boxing. And the way that I like to explain it is that it's kind of like a side bend. You know, when you're standing straight and you're coming to the side, you're gonna kind of do that, but in your stance with your hands up. You're gonna be turning to the side and what we like to call the center line. So the center line is going to be you facing your opponent, my bag is my opponent, and straight down the pipe is where they can actually make contact with you. Now, as you throw this slip or side bend off to the side, your hands are up, you're going to come off the center line, still protecting your face, still protecting your rib cage, keeping a nice tight guard. We're gonna slip and slip to the opposite side. So I'm just gonna think that there's an invisible rope straight through. I'm gonna slip to the right side of the rope, and I'm gonna slip to the left side of the rope. The cool thing about the slip is actually it's really great to work in front of the mirror. Actually, all of the defenses are. But if you have one that has a crack or like a line of separation within your mirror, because there's mirrors attached, you can actually slip to one side of the mirror and then slip to the other. You can actually see that visualization, which is really important. They say that boxing is the game of inches for a reason. All of these defenses are gonna be used for you to just barely get out of the way so then you can come back with a proper attack. So let's go to number 2. Number 2, the roll. And I don't mean the body roll. I actually literally mean a roll. And the way I like to describe a roll is that you're kind of gonna make a U shape or a horseshoe. Hands up. Now you're not gonna lean forward because a lot of people sometimes make this mistake. You're gonna act like there's a pole straight through your head and out the bottom of your body. So you're stuck in a straight position. Now from here, I'm gonna drop down, make a U coming back up, and then I'm gonna drop down and make a U coming back. Still being mindful again of not looking at the ground, because if you're looking at the ground, you're not gonna be able to see your opponent. So if I'm facing my bag here, my opponent, I'm gonna drop down, come around in the U. Now my weight has actually transferred to my back leg. Now from here, I wanna go ahead and roll forward. I'm gonna drop down into this U, and now my weight has transferred forward. This is something that not a lot of people talk about in the beginning stages of boxing, but it's so important. What's gonna take you to the next level is weight transfer. So it's one thing to be fully planted on both legs, but if you really wanna be ready for attacking, you wanna be able to transfer your weight to the appropriate legs so you can come back with the right counters. This is another one that you wanna act like there's that invisible rope we talked about with the slips. You're gonna roll under it, and then you're going to roll straight back through. Number 3, the block. Now there's a lot of ways to block. You can do a high block, a head block. You can do a body block. You can do a front block. It's actually important to know how to do all of these. These are just tools to add to your tool belt so you can mix it up and you're ready for anything that comes your way. So if I'm working on my bag, I want to be ready to take the impact of a punch by slightly turning away from it. So if I'm facing you, so you can see, hands up, elbows in. No chicken wings, keep them tight, act like there's lemons underneath your armpits, and squeeze, make some lemonade, baby. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So hands up right here, and as the impact comes, I'm going to brace down. I don't wanna just be open. I'm gonna get knocked, it's gonna hurt 20 times more. I'm gonna keep this here. I'm going to take the impact, still protecting my forehead, all the way down to my chin. And then if I'm coming down to the body, it's the same concept, but I can't do this. If I do this, then I'm leaving my head open. I have to be able to drop down to protect my rib cage, dropping your elbow down to your waist. So if I'm working on the bag, I can just visualize, act like there's a punch coming, staying nice and loose, drop down to the body, the other body, and then if a forward punch comes, I can block by pulling both of my gloves together, but we like to call them putting on your binoculars. Right here, I'm looking out so I can see, keeping my elbows tight so it can't come through my guard. Hands up, close the binoculars. Look out so you can still see your opponent, because if you can't see your opponent, you're not gonna be able to see a punch. So that's a way that you can kind of work around your bag, visualize certain punches coming, countering back. Let's do that again, not miss the bag. There it is, block down to the body. And a little later on in the video, I'm gonna grab a partner. I'm actually gonna show you how to drill the different body blocks and head blocks. Number 4, the pool. Some people call it the fade. There's a lot of different names for everything. You'll notice that different gyms call them different things. But the cool thing about this, I like pool, because you are literally pooling. And in this one, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Some people get out, get in, but my favorite version of the pool is actually to keep my front foot planted. I'm gonna keep that planted. I'm literally just going to step back, almost like I'm doing a lateral lunge in a sense. I'm gonna pull back or step back, come right back into my stance. Be mindful of not pulling and coming to where you're parallel. Look, now I can get knocked over. You wanna always come back to your stance. So from here, let's say I'm out here, they're throwing a punch, pull, and then I can come straight back and counter again. I love this one. It's a great way to get out of the way of people that are really heavy, not throwing a lot of jabs or a lot of 1-2s. Get in there, pull back, and then you can come straight back with a counter and then start working your other defenses as necessary. This is probably one of my favorite defenses to use because you're out of the way and then you're right back in ready to attack. And last but not least, number 5, the parry. Okay, so I lied in the last one. I did say the pool is my favorite one, but I think the parry is probably my favorite defense. What's amazing about the parry is that you can kind of use people's power against themselves. So if you have studied Bruce Lee, he'd like to take the parry, he'd parry someone's punch, and then come back with a back fist. Now, that's not okay in boxing, so don't go into your boxing fights and think, hey, I watched this video and they said, this is just because he had a completely different style, but same rule applies. It's about taking somebody's power away from them and then coming back right away with your counter, with your strike, with your offense. So, the parry. If I'm hands up in my fight stance, I'm going to, as someone's like throwing a jab or a cross, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna transfer the power or the direction of their punch down or away, bop. That's as simple as it is. It seems very simple, very easy, but sometimes you can anticipate. You can anticipate and then you come out here, or you pull down here and then you leave yourself exposed. But it's really, really subtle. You're right here, tighten your guard, bop, bop, bop. And you're just redirecting the punch or moving it out of the way. So if I'm practicing this on my bag, creating my visualization, someone's throwing a jab, I'm going to parry, and then as I redirect it, I'm gonna pop the jab right over the top of the punch. Let's say they come again with a cross. I'm gonna parry with the backhand, pop up the jab right there. Again, so you can work either side. You can parry with the lead hand, or you can parry with the rear hand. And you can also strike back with either hand. That's what's so cool about this defense, that they'll never know what's coming if you really know how to use both sides of your weapons. So now that we've broken these down, we've shadowed them, shown you a little bit of how to drill them on the bag, I'm gonna grab a partner and I'm gonna show you how to drill these with a partner just in case you wanna get those extra reps in. All right, so now I have my handy dandy sidekick, J-Ball, and we're gonna show you the first drill that you can go ahead and rep back and forth for the slip and the roll. So you're gonna face your partner. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a straight jab straight down the pipe and J-Ball is gonna slip to his rear side. Bop. Now I'm gonna throw a punch straight down the pipe and he's gonna slip to his rear side. Wow. Straight from here, what you would naturally do in a fight is probably throw the next punch. That's gonna be your hook. I'm gonna throw my hook over slowly, please, with your partner, please slowly. I'm gonna throw my hook over. He's gonna roll to his rear side. I'm gonna throw my rear hook. He's gonna roll to his lead side. Now from here, we're gonna switch. He's gonna throw his jab. Now he's gonna throw his cross, his lead hook, his rear hook. Now as you drill this back and forth, be mindful of those things that we said. As you are the defender, You're gonna make sure you're making small incremental slips. If J-Ball slips all the way down here, how long is it gonna take for him to get to the other side? Go ahead and move. Bop. He got hit in the line of fire. So make sure you're just getting out of the way. You should almost feel it graze you. If it's grazing you, ooh, baby, you in a good zone, okay? Another thing is, if you're the person on offense, you're not gonna help your partner if you're doing this. And you're also not gonna help yourself because no one punches like that. You're totally missing your target. Take your time. Go ahead and go straight down the pipe. Over, and repeat. Next drill is for blocks. Now, I love this drill, especially if you're working on mitts, but you can also drill this with two partners having gloves, going back and forth. As you face your partner, take your time as you start to work this. Let's say I'm gonna throw a lead hook first. I'm gonna throw that lead hook, and he's gonna go ahead and see how he's kind of giving that slight little turn to release the amount of power that's coming at him. He's gonna turn and he's blocking his head. He's fully protected from his temple all the way down to his chin. I can't get in there, and then he's ready just in case I try to pop him to the liver. Now he's gonna protect the opposite side. He's still protected. He's got a nice tight guard and a good stance. Let's say I go down to his body. Good, full protection. Notice how he's still protecting his temple all the way down to his rib cage so I can't get in here. Other side. Good, same thing. And then if I was gonna, ready? And if I was gonna come straight down the pipe, he's ready with that straight guard straight through. 1, 2. Same thing if he wants to come back at me. Nice, again. Good, now you're gonna have to really absorb those punches. This is a really important tip when it comes to blocking. If J-Ball is blocking and his hand's all the way out here, when I go to strike him, it's gonna knock him in the head. You might actually knock yourself out with your own glove, your own punch. So it's really important to brace and take the impact, kind of turn just slightly just to let the power go through, but not to have your guard away from your body, because if it is away and then you take that hard hit, and it knocks into your body, it's actually gonna hurt more. So really make sure you brace down and you work those. Now, if you really wanna make it a little bit more advanced, kind of mix it up. Don't let them know where you're gonna throw. So if I'm just facing him, he's not gonna know what pattern I'm gonna throw. He's just gonna be ready for anything. Next is the pool. Now, funny talking about pool, this is a pool noodle in fact. It's like $2 at Target. You literally just cut it in half and it makes this amazing piece of equipment that you can use for drilling. And it's great for beginners because it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? And I know some people are very afraid of getting hit in the face. So for the pool, the reason as well why I want to use the pool noodle is because I want him to really feel like he's getting out of the way of if someone has a really long reach. I'm not really doing him a favor, or myself actually, if I'm just half-assing this and like kind of like just, and he's barely getting out of the way and he's gonna get punched in the real deal. So as I'm right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna act like there's a punch coming towards him. He's gonna pull back and then he's gonna come forward back into his stance and hit a nice quick cross, because it's really good to make sure you're working counters as you do some of these defenses. So I'm throwing that punch, good. Nice quick out of the way, good. Pull back a little bit more. Good, nice quick, make that a nice quick 2. Good, pull back more. Beautiful, again. 1 more. Very nice. Another thing to be mindful of in the pool is that as you're pulling back, you're not separating your hands from your face. You're not doing this. Keep your hands here, pull back, so you're ready to strike right away. And number 5, the parry. Remember, this is my favorite one to drill. And we went ahead and put the gloves back on. This is one that you can go ahead and drill very easily, both with gloves on. So if I throw my jab at J-Ball, I want him to parry it down. Very nice. And so he went ahead and used his rear side. Now I'm gonna have him use his lead side. See how it's really subtle? The parry is such a subtle strike, or subtle defense. So I'm gonna bop, I'm gonna throw again. So let's say I double it. Nice, nice little incremental swipes down. Now what he's not doing is swiping and pulling his hand far away from his face. If he does that, boom, setting himself up for a good night's sleep. So make sure it's nice and small. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Rear side. And the cool thing about this is that after he does that, let's say you're gonna parry with your rear side, come back with that jab. Yep, go ahead and go straight for the head. He's actually at an advantage because here he's defending me and I'm moving in this direction, and then he has the advantage with the reach with his jab. So you can go ahead and drill this back and forth. Just drill parrying the rear side. Now drill parrying the lead. Now I'm gonna go. Good. And as you can see, you can also parry the cross. He went ahead and threw his 2. You can still parry the cross. Go ahead and throw your cross. Go ahead again. And you can come over the top of the parry. So go ahead and throw the cross again. Gives you an advantage, makes you a little bit quicker than your opponent. Make sure you guys are on the same page when you're drilling this. And also, I actually advise wearing a mouth guard. Anytime you're doing partner drilling with gloves on, especially if they're smaller gloves, you want to protect your teeth. You want to protect your head, so you can also wear some headgear, especially if you're new starting out. So if you like these drills that we went over, it was very helpful for you, make sure you let us know in the comments, like and subscribe, let us know what it is that you want to see next, and we'll see you in the next one. This is FightCamp, an interactive training camp from the comfort of your own home. Tutorials and guided paths walk you step by step through the basics and sharpen your technique over time. Punch tracking technology and leaderboards provide you built-in motivation to help you hit your goals. Learn more at FightCamp.com.
Your workout, and I don't expect you to be going non-stop.